Yeah. We got the regular mic today. We got the regular mic for y'all today. Can y'all hear? Make sure y'all can hear. Regular mic test. Mic check. Mic check. Yes, we are good. We are good. Happy Friday, good people. As you're joining, please make sure that you like for the algorithm. That's going to help us spread the word and get as many people as possible in tune with this convo. We need multiple perspectives to the table. Ooh, I see the dream. You see the dream catcher in the back right here? That's dope how I did that, right? You can't even tell. It's hanging in the middle of the room. Matter of fact, let me see if I can. It's going to cut the sound. But I hung it right off of the light fixture. So, yeah, super excited about y'all. Wasn't going to, I remember I said I was going to move the show to Saturdays, but since we had the little mess up on Wednesday night, I said, I need my get back ASAP. So, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. This should be good to go. One second. There we go. Gotta have the little weight system. I don't know if y'all know about that. Hold on. We're gonna have a great day. What we got topic wise today? We got a bunch of stuff. We got Caitlin Clark. We're going to actually finish up. Well, we're gonna touch on what Urs actually sent the other day as far as oneness and community. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to figure out what was this Trump trial even about, because everybody's talking about it, and I'm sitting here as one of the people that has no idea what it was even about. Like, I didn't even pay attention to it. We do have to get back into the Kyrie situation because I want to review a video that I saw with Stephen A. and make some comments on it with everybody coming out and now showing Kyrie some love that we didn't get to touch on the last show. We may touch on this video from Fresh and Fit. I want to highlight an exchange that I'm not sure if y'all familiar with him, Wes Watson, popular influencer on Instagram and various platforms, but wanted to highlight an exchange and talk about how important it is how we communicate, effective communication, and how the way that we're communicating the message can a lot of times prevent people from actually receiving the message. So I wanted to talk about that. We got to get back to this Caitlin Clark hate because I don't want us to make the mistake that I think that we're making. And we'll get into that as we get into that. Then we may have a little bit about a few other topics that I'm excited to talk about. So hopefully we can get through everything. Excuse me. Sorry, got the little sniffles. I don't know what it is because we got I don't know if it's the pollen. It seems like every time we wipe off these tables in here, there's just more pollen on them, but it is what it is. We get through it and we figure it out, right? Mentally. I just got to tell myself, yo, I'm not allergic to anything. And I'm getting ready to actually start this no glasses, I think for 6 weeks. I'm getting ready to readjust and heal my vision. And to do so, I've been doing a little reading, and they were talking about how it's actually letting go. And they were talking about how you can heal your own vision, you can heal your own body parts. And I always tell my dad that as far as the words that we're saying, the affirmations that we give ourselves at night, we can program and heal our body. So I may just put it to the test. So we may be not seeing too many glasses from here on out, or actually I'm still gonna rock the glasses because I like the way they look. But hopefully we can get these, not hopefully, we're gonna get these prescriptions out of here. Yeah, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. I can see. I don't act. It's funny is I don't actually need to read with glasses. I don't know. My vision, it's just seeing certain things. I don't know. But let's get into it. 1 second. Let me get my last little sniff. And then we shall get into it. All right, hold on 1 second. 1 second. And of course, as you join, please make sure that you like. That's going to help for the algorithm. All right, so let's get into today. Let's get into today. What's the first thing that I want to talk about? So there was an African proverb that Ursi sent me. I think we mentioned it on the last show. And the proverb is, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. What do y'all think about that? That touches on so many recent topics right now, current events that I see playing out in the world today. And I'm not sure that we truly can embrace it without acknowledging that we're all connected. Without acknowledging that we're all connected. We see this type of situation all the time. Matter of fact, it used to be almost, y'all caught me. It used to be, I don't even want to say like a running joke, but it used to be very understood. Or I remember people saying in school that, yo, that's the type of kid that would pull a, and they would say the school, I don't know, can I say the school? The first school shooting was, it started with a C. I don't want to say it, but it almost became like that word was known as, almost like, you know how Randy Moss had his catch and it said you mossed him. Every school situation that occurred after that was pretty much called COLUMBINE. All right. And I can remember, y'all tell me, Urs, what's the deal, baby? Got Urs in the building, got Boogie in the building, both my brothers. Yo, let me know. Do y'all remember? So Urs, I don't know if you just heard me say it, but I'll repeat it. The proverb that you sent over: the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. And it made me think of, and I'm trying to like, Lana, hey Lana, it made me think about the kid in class who, I remember, how could I like, I'm trying to tiptoe on this. I don't want to say that, because it sounds kind of crazy when you say like, yo, that's the type of kid that's going to come in here one day and, you know, S up the school. I don't want to say the word pow pow. And the reason why I'm a little uncomfortable talking about it, because it's very wrong. But it's something that I'd be lying that if I didn't acknowledge it, saying that it was said. And it really just has to do with exactly what that proverb said. The kid that feels that he's not connected to the rest of the group, the kid that feels that he's different, the kid that feels like he's on the outside looking in, the kid that feels that he has no friends, not comforted, not included. That's usually, well, I don't want to say usually because I'm not referring to any stats, but a lot of times that's the kid that, from my experiences, acts out, figures out a way to act out. Now, to get to the root of the problem, I think that we have to go back to this oneness that we talked about and being connected with everybody. Once everybody feels that or understands that we are connected with each other, I think that's when you go out of your way, if it is out of your way, to bring somebody like that in, to bring that child in the village that may not be getting the attention that they are looking for, to bring them in instead of have them act as the outcast. And hold on. All right, man. I don't know if that mental, telling myself that the allergies aren't there, I don't know if that's going to work on this show. So I left the tissues over there just because I was like, mentally, nah, I'm not going to need the tissues. But we'll see. We'll see how long we can keep it up. But what are y'all thoughts on that? What are y'all thoughts on that? Because, and we're going to touch on it a little bit later on in some of the things that we're discussing with Kyrie. But is it the responsibility of all of us to elevate all of us? Hear me out on that. Is it everyone's responsibility? When we're on a team, and maybe that's the question. Maybe it's because we all don't feel that we're on the same team. And once society was able to convince us of this, in my opinion, that's when things all went downhill. Once you separate people, everything goes downhill from there, because now we're not seeing everybody on the same team. So therefore, we don't even feel connected with the people in our family. So I guess for us to think that all of us on the planet are connected, I guess that's a stretch. But when we don't feel that we're connected, then we don't feel an obligation and the understanding that if this person is sick, then that means we're all sick. If this person is a weak link on this team in this chain, then that means the entire chain is broken, right? So us getting back to that, or getting to an understanding, to me, that's the most spiritual thing that we can have. Understanding that we're connected. That is the most spiritually advanced thing that we can do right now. When we talk about us needing a spiritual reset, us needing a religious reset, whatever that may be for you, to me, the first thing that we would benefit from is understanding that we're all connected. Once we understand that we're all connected, everything goes from there. Think about when like Boog said, only as strong as your weakest link. It's a fact. Now, think about if we all looked at each other as being a part of their link. Instead of tearing each other down, maybe we'd help build each other up. Instead of not even tearing each other down, instead of not even regarding certain individuals, we just totally disregard certain people because we're like, that's their issue. I was thinking the other day, I'm sitting here watching the NBA finals, and right before the game, I remember calling my dad. Shy in the building. What's good, Shy? So right before the game, I called my dad, and I was a little bit sick because I just heard what happened, and I think I was actually a little bit late. What happened in Rafah, in Gaza, and there was another bombing, and I was legit sick to my stomach. Like, I don't know what came over me. I'll be totally honest. A lot of this stuff, what happens is, and this started happening with the whole, with them highlighting the society, or the media wanting to highlight, oh, this black kid just got killed by the police, or this black kid. It got to the point where I was almost numb to any feelings on those occurrences when they would happen. It's like, oh, somebody else got shot. Yeah, okay. It's almost like if you live in certain neighborhoods where there's a lot of violence, you start to become numb to it. You really start to become numb to it. So, and I think hold on. And hold on. I think I lost my train of thought, but I don't know. Oh, I caught it. So as I'm sitting here before the game talking to my dad about what happened in Rafah, here I go from one moment being sick to my stomach about this situation. Y'all know how I feel. I do not like war. I do not like, I don't know what turned me off so much about it, but in these last maybe 6 months, I am just so turned off from wars. Maybe in the last year, maybe since the hostages were first taken and things started to escalate from there. But a half an hour later, I was watching the basketball game. Think about that. I went from being sad about women, kids, innocent civilians being bombed due to a war. And let's be clear, that's what happens in war. Innocent people die. That's why I'm just opposed. That's one of the reasons why I'm opposed to it. Innocent people die in war. And then I guess we go to the point where who's innocent, who's not, or who's a part of this, what justifies this, what justifies that. A half an hour later, I was watching Kyrie, excited about Kyrie, more concerned with whether or not Dallas would close out and Kyrie would keep his perfect record and close out games. And I'm sitting here like, damn, how can I? This goes back to that proverb. This goes back to that proverb that said. Let me say the proverb again. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Imagine being in a situation like that, where if we felt connected, if we all felt connected, how we would respond compared to now how we respond. Now I look at Rafa got bombed. I'm sick to my stomach. Half an hour later, we're watching the finals. I think this happened. I think there was a situation like this even during the Super Bowl, where it's like, how can we even play these type of games, totally disregard the things that are happening with our brothers and our sisters in humanity, just so I don't know. I don't know. Do y'all think about that? Is that something that bothers y'all? Do you see it as an issue? I don't know. Am I the only one that notices my own hypocrisies in this area? Because I'll sit here and say we're all connected. I'll sit here and say these things, and it almost reminds me of like the whole BLM movement and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, people will say all this stuff right now, but then everybody will embrace it. Oh, this is terrible, or oh, the country needs to come together. We're fighting the pandemic, but then the next day, if somebody doesn't move fast enough in the car, we're beeping our horn crazy at them. If somebody accidentally bumps into you, walking through New York, or if somebody's not moving fast enough, we're short with people, all these different things. We got to take a step back, in my opinion. We have to take a step back. I think society has done such I don't even know whether to say an effective job in making us hate each other, that it's very hard for us to see how we are actually joined together. And going back to the proverb, unless we establish a certain level of connection and oneness with each other, I really don't see how things get any better. I think and I think when I say things getting any better, I mean intentionally getting better, not just going through the cycle of, okay, we have down times, we have evil times, and then we have good times. Like, do we just accept the cycle of that, or do we actively try to lessen the evil times, lessen the evil acts, lessen all these things that we're not comfortable with happening in society? I don't know, but let's keep going. So that was kind of just a little thought. I'll say it one more time before we finish up. But the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Maybe that can be addressed on a family level, and it can also be addressed on a global level, because maybe we can pour into some more of the individuals in our close village and our close tribe and our families, but also understanding the global aspect of it, where a lot of times we'll sit here in the comfort of the good old USA, or the comfort of wherever we live in our cities, or whatever it may be, and not accept somebody else's things that they're going through as our own problems, or take responsibility and accountability for us all working together to solve a lot of those issues. So that's just what was on the mental. Let's get into it. Let's move on. So I want to jump into this Stephen A situation, because we talked about the Kyrie Irving video, but I want to show you this video that I just checked out. I appreciate it from Stephen A. Smith, but there's a lot of things that I want to pull from it and get your guys' opinion on it, because what I think is happening with Kyrie, as far as like him having this kind of redemption tour, he just made it to the finals yesterday. People are coming out and celebrating Kyrie, and I think a lot of we're missing a lot, and we're allowing certain things to be swept under the rug without highlighting a huge problem that I feel. And some of those questions that I have: what if Kyrie didn't make it to the finals? What if Kyrie wasn't playing his best basketball? What if he wasn't mentally strong enough to come back, get focused, and have a good season with Dallas? What if all these things that were said about him being anti-Semitic, him being an idiot, all these different things, what if those would have taken a toll on him and prevented him from being the basketball player that he is right now? Because everybody's apologizing, but I'm studying what they're apologizing for. What are they saying? Everybody's celebrating him now, but you're only really celebrating him because he's having great basketball achievements. And I think we're missing a lot of the problems that were actually brought up when people were criticizing him and why they were criticizing him. But people are sweeping a lot of those reasons under the rug and acting like they were just criticizing him for basketball reasons. And I want to, we'll take a little journey now. Yeah, I'm gonna share the screen. And like Book said, everybody loves the winner. Yeah, if he wasn't winning, he'd be ostracized, and they'd be messing with his money. Like I think a lot of times we forget why Kyrie was taking a lot of the heat that he was taking. A lot of times we try to act as if, oh, well, he was just being a bad teammate or there were issues on the court. Kyrie was balling in Brooklyn. It wasn't his play. Amazingly, I don't know how, me, I'm the type, if I'm going through something, it would be very hard for me to, I don't know, to completely push that to the side and to just focus on basketball. But let's get into this video.
TNT, the great Kyrie Irving for the Dallas Mavericks, who may be. Let me move on to this last subject before I go to break, because it involves Kenny Smith and Kyrie Irving. Kenny the Jet Smith for TNT, the great Kyrie Irving for the Dallas Mavericks, who may be on the verge of winning his second NBA championship, by the way, which is an incredible story within itself. But anyway, the topic that I'm about to get into is a bit personal. It involves Kenny, my brother, my boy. Kenny Smith and I go back decades. His brother, Vincent Smith, used to train me. Lost Battalion Hall, Queens, New York, all of that stuff. I got a scholarship, a basketball scholarship, because of Vincent Smith. Love him to death. But Kenny Smith and I go back that long. Last night, the TNT crew was discussing the evolution of Kyrie Irving this postseason. Because Kyrie Irving obviously has gone through so much, being accused of anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic remarks just because he retweeted something and stuff like that, getting suspended, having to deal with some of the things he's had to deal with, the whole COVID thing and, not wanting to play, not wanting.
I forgot all about that. And I know we mentioned it on the last show. Think about the things that he was criticized, his intelligence. His intelligence was insulted to the point where, and that's what they do. Think about what they're doing with RFK right now. If somebody says something that does not align with how mainstream society wants us to view things, their intelligence is going to be insulted. And who did it? It's almost like I'm going to take it there. It's almost like you on the plantation and you got the overseer, the black overseer, who he's worse than the damn slave master. The slave master is telling, he's telling the overseer, the Shaquille O'Neals, the Charles Barkleys, the Stephen A. Smiths, y'all better go whip that nigga and get him back in line. And that's exactly what they did. Rather than addressing the actual problem, rather than actually using their platforms to say, hold up, let's give Kyrie a voice. Let's actually have a conversation about it. Y'all remember the old Phil Donahue shows? What happened to these? They had Khalid Muhammad on there. They had Louis Farrakhan, and think about all the shows that used to have a Malcolm X on there, where you had certain people with views that were very controversial to mainstream America and mainstream society, but they were still allowed to voice their opinion, not just answer questions in a post game press conference, but they were actually able to express why they're saying certain things, elaborate on it, give their opinions, give their insights on it, and have a conversation about it, rather than just get canceled, rather than just be called an idiot because you don't believe in taking the vaccine. And now look at what's going on right now. Kyrie's looking like a genius, right? But notice how most of the time they're not highlighting the fact that he was actually coming from an intelligent standpoint. They're highlighting the fact, oh, he's playing great basketball. He's really leading the Mavericks team. Well, y'all created this narrative that he wasn't a leader. In my opinion, he was a leader by actually taking a stand and not just accepting, oh, you got to take this vaccine. Who says that he wasn't being a leader then? The only difference is you were being a puppet master and you decided to just go with the get along in order to not compromise your money. Kyrie was being a leader in those situations. Let's look at, hold on. Baz G in the building, Doug in the building. Queez wrote, they called him an idiot. Now they're singing his praises. Bez wrote, they all clowns. Shaq, Barkley, Stephen A. Facts. For boss's approval. Bez wrote, Barkley really said bro should not get paid $15 million since he didn't want to take the vaccine. It's insane. And you saw all of them. Hold on. Let me play this clip for y'all. Y'all are gonna, if I can find this clip, hold on. Oh my God, did I save it? Hold on. Let me see if I saved this clip for y'all. Because it was somebody just highlighting how they pretty much were when that interview when Kyrie, hold on, I gotta show this to y'all. Oh my God, I hope I have this. Hold on. Wait, did I play it for y'all? I think we played it. Let me play it again. Because this is cowardly energy. This is what you call cowardly energy. And hold on. We got to play this because now y'all got me amped. I think we already played it the other day, but I want to show it to y'all again. Hold on.
Gregory Lewin.
I gotta call you back. Hold on 1 second. I got to make sure. Hold on 1 second. He gonna have to call me back. See, that messed me up, man. He saw the I got my phone on do not disturb. All right, listen to this.
Energy in the post-game interview. It was a little awkward and nervous because they know how they talked about Kyrie these last 3 years, not including Draymond. Kenny held him down for as much as you could without throwing yourself under the bus. But Shaq, you got on that same show and called that man an idiot on live television. Then when you sit beside him, you act like you got some type of Jersey camaraderie, knowing you threw him under the Jersey Turnpike. I swear these old NBA niggas are haters, bro. I like how Kyrie lightweight checked all them niggas, though. He just sat down like, what was said? Peep the alpha body language, though. My nigga's too confident, making direct eye contact. You know what I'm saying? Open. Got his leg pressing Shaq like, scoot over, big nigga. I'm letting my nuts hang. Look at Shaq. Beta. Nuts not hanging. Uptight. No eye contact. Looking like he's smiling in your face. All the time they want to take your place. He's sitting in the middle of the back seat. Look at Barkley when he's leaving.
Yo,
he's so desperate for the dap. Hand out too early. You two daps too early with a pound out. This nigga's a goofy. Knowing y'all told that man to retire 2 years ago. And they kept asking him about what Ant-Man said. What about what you said? But I like how Kyrie handled it. That's why you just got to stand on what you believe in. Because the people who clown you will be kissing your ass when you back on top.
Formula has always been the same. 60% to make you laugh, 30% to inspire you, and 10% whatever I'm selling. You have to be aware of what you're doing. And you have to be aware that sometimes when you put stuff out, not everybody's gonna like it. some people are conscious, some people are not. I can tell he's not conscious. He doesn't really care what's going on.
He's not conscious. He doesn't care what's going on.
But us, I know that the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me
They bring people together.
sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done.
So Kyrie's dividing the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot's doing.
I stand for equality of all people. I've always been.
I stand for equality of all people. Well, it doesn't seem like that energy is being extended to Kyrie and his thoughts.
Like, it don't matter what religion, don't matter where you're from. I could say shalom, salam alaikum, ni hao, say bon, because that's how I was raised. So I don't really want to sit up here and answer questions for what he's done. If you're looking at me, it's my job to make people happy. I can't speak for.
All right, we already saw this video. The handout early. Yo, I saw that video and I was crying, and you could see it. You can see it so bad. When you watch Kyrie right now, I don't know about y'all, but every time I see Kyrie, the confidence, like KG said it the other day, he's like, yo, Kyrie is walking around with that Kobe aura. Like, he really thinks he knows he's him. Like, that's the energy. Yo, I don't know. Let's keep going with this video. But when you apologize, see, I wouldn't even feel comfortable sitting next to somebody that I said certain things like that without us addressing it. Either me addressing it and saying like, yo, I apologize, or me saying like, yo, I did say some certain things about you. This is why I said them. It is what it is. But the whole fact that you're sitting up there acting as if y'all are cool, acting as if you didn't say, if people said certain things like this, think about it. Shannon Sharp said certain things like this to Shaq, or it was critical of Shaq. And not even as strong a way as this. Shaq out here making diss songs. Shaq's the type to act like he gonna try to fight you, all this other type of stuff. But you can say these type of things to tarnish this man's character, to insult his intelligence, and you don't address them afterwards. When anybody looking at Kyrie, you can tell that this brother is an intelligent person. Now, what ends up happening is, what do they try to do with when jocks start to get a little bit too smart for themselves? They start to try to act as if, oh wait, this nigga's too smart. Let's make him look crazy to everybody else. And it ain't just a black thing, because they do the same thing with RFK. But in this type of situation, we know what's going on right here. Them getting these puppets to talk down on him. So let's keep going with Stephen A for a little bit, because I kind of said most of what I was intending on saying, but I want to hear a little more.
Take the vaccine and all of this other stuff, ultimately missing an abundance of games. And, obviously things going south in Brooklyn with him, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. You look at those situations and you just found yourself saying, damn, this is a bad situation. It's really bad. And Kyrie's name was all over it. And then he lost the sneaker deal and all he had was basketball. But the evolution of Kyrie Irving this postseason has been nothing short of spectacular, and he deserves a lot of credit for it. But that was also what led to Kenny Smith revealing a very private conversation that he had with me about my past critical comments of Kyrie. And I shouldn't say past, because at the time we had the conversation, that's when it was going on, and that's when Kenny Smith called me. Here's what he had to say last night on TNT. We couldn't play the sound, but here's the quote. At one time, Stephen A. was an advocate about having a battle with Kyrie Irving. I had to call Stephen. I'm like, this guy's from our neighborhood. I named like 6 people, and I said, Stephen A., those people mentored you. They mentored him. So when you say something about him, you're actually saying it about us.
And
he said, I understand.
Keep going. I want y'all to keep going this. So listen to this.
He rightly deserved it.
Listen to what Charles Barkley said.
He self-inflicted himself. Talking about Kyrie. He got to take some responsibility. I think he's grown up. I think he's matured. Stephen A. and other people criticized him. He rightly deserved it.
Bro, you criticized Stephen A. and other people criticized him. You criticized him.
Be anti-Semitic. He deserved the criticism.
You can't go out there and be anti-Semitic. These people are missing the problem. They're missing the problem. So let me get to my notes. So this is what I want to. It's really bad, because they're still painting. Hold on. Let me keep going.
Criticism he got.
Just pay
He
attention to
deserved
that.
the suspension he got. But as a basketball player, I think he's really grown up, end quote.
As
Let me
a
say
basketball
this.
player, he's really
Both
grown
of them,
up.
right? Tackling Charles Barkley first. Kyrie did deserve to be criticized at the time that he was being criticized. And it's our job to tell a story. And that's what I did. When it was happening, I spoke about.
So y'all heard Stephen A. agree with Charles Barkley. Let's go back to this. Do you see how when you say you can't go out there and be anti-Semitic, I still have not heard any of these people who criticize Kyrie tell us what was anti-Semitic in the documentary. How amazing it would have been for us to go back, review that documentary, right? Review the documentary that is anti-Semitic, understand what parts of it are anti-Semitic and why, rather than just criticizing somebody for tweeting it. And because your powers that be, the people that stand over your shoulders and tell you what to say and tell you what messages to push, how amazing would that have been to actually go through it? For people to actually watch the documentary. I still sit here and say, as somebody who watched the documentary, tell me what part was it? Because I can't figure out why. I can't figure it out. I'm not saying that certain parts are, if they are anti-Semitic, then let's talk about it. But what people are scared is to have an intellectual conversation with somebody like Kyrie. And when they hear Kyrie say stuff like, I can't be anti-Semitic because I know who I am, I know where I come from. A lot of people are sitting there confused as to what is he talking about? What is he saying? But there's a lot of other people that are sitting there saying, I know exactly what he's saying. And some of those people that know exactly what he's saying, those are the people that are trying to form a narrative that he is anti-Semitic because they don't want to have these intellectual conversations. We do not want to talk about it and explain it because it may make certain people look a certain type of way. So when you have, so that's why I can't get with the whole Stephen A. saying that he was just in criticizing him. Look at what he says. I think he's grown up as a basketball player. Charles Barkley, who now has his show with Gail. For you to say that he's really grown up as a basketball player is really an insult to this man's intelligence. And maybe, matter of fact, maybe it's not for reasons that I'll say. I don't think that Kyrie has grown up as far as his maturity based on his intelligence. I don't think he's grown up. I think that he was just as grown then. You know, because I don't want to insinuate the fact that, oh, Kyrie was, he was so misguided and misled. And now look at how he's so mature and now he's smart. Now he's an intelligent individual. Nah, y'all just didn't want to touch on those issues. And this is what ends up happening when people control certain narratives. Now, imagine if some of us would have had a conversation about the documentary, would have had more conversations about these type of issues in general, maybe we wouldn't see a lot of the things happening throughout the world that we see now because we'd have more of an understanding. I'll leave it there. We'll watch a couple more seconds of this and then we'll move on.
I think he's really grown up, end quote.
Actually, we're done with this. We got what we needed from this. I just wanted to highlight that. All right, so we're going to move on. So this Trump situation, I don't know if y'all are like me. I have no idea what's going on in this. I have no idea what the issue is. So what I wanted to do was play, Trump guilty key Trump moments. I wanted to play this video and just so we can have an understanding of what's going on in Trump's situation. Because like I said, I'm just not familiar with it. Didn't know what's going on, but we will learn a little bit more about it. So that way we can have some conversations. And Queez, that's interesting that you say that. They just because I was talking yesterday to my mom. I was like, yo, did they just rally Trump's, MAGA group by doing something like this? Did they just rally a whole bunch of people that were on the fence as far as like when Trump says they're being unfair to me. You know, a lot of people that came out before saying that, oh, us seeing Trump go through this actually makes us more aligned with him because we understand now that he's going through all these things. We don't like that the Democrats are weaponizing the political system in order to indict him and hold all these charges against him. It just seemed as if they were playing unfair, I guess people would say. I don't know. Queez wrote they raised 50 mil. Sheesh. Sheesh. All right, hold on. Let me share this video. Where we? Let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. That is not the right one. All right, so let's take a look at this. And we'll stop as we're going through it, as we always do, just to discuss some of it. But I was sitting here saying, like, I don't even want to discuss it because I don't really know much about it. But let's learn a little bit about it. Hold on. I thought I had the wrong screen. My bad. Here we go.
Donald Trump was found guilty of felony charges for his role in covering up a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels.
Mother Teresa could not beat these charges. These charges are rigged. The whole thing is rigged.
WSJ's courts reporter Corinne Ramey watched it all unfold inside the courtroom. She walks us through key moments from the trial and explains what the verdict means for Trump. At the center of the charges against Trump were dozens of documents, including 11 checks, 11 invoices, and 12 entries in Trump's general ledger. This was ultimately not a trial about an affair. It was a trial about business documents and a cover-up, right?
Absolutely. Trump was charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records. Falsifying business records in New York is a misdemeanor, but here it's a felony because prosecutors had to show that Trump was seeking to commit or conceal a second crime.
Prosecutors argued that the reason Trump falsified business records was to cover up a conspiracy to illegally promote his election to the presidency. A conspiracy, they said, that involved Trump, his fixer Michael Cohen, and the publisher of the National Enquirer, conspiracy to illegally promote his election to the presidency. A conspiracy, they said, that involved Trump, his fixer Michael Cohen, and the publisher of the National Enquirer, David Pecker, who worked together to catch and kill stories damaging to Trump's campaign, like the story about an alleged affair with porn star Stormy Daniels, who Cohen paid $130,000 to silence in the final days of the 2016 campaign. Trump has denied the affair. The prosecution kicked things off by calling Pecker to the stand to outline the conspiracy.
They establish not only is there a conspiracy, but there's a specific moment when this supposedly begins.
I
so they
had it
have
on
this
mute.
meeting. Then here we have Pecker talk.
My fault. So what I was saying is, and good look, Bez. What I was saying is that, so if I'm understanding correctly, y'all help me out if I'm not. It normally was a misdemeanor, but the reason why they're felony charges is because they're connecting that with him doing another crime, which was promoting him illegally to the presidency. Am I understanding that correctly? If not, please let me know.
Talking about how he is Trump's eyes and ears. Then here we have sort of him defining the catch and kill scheme. He says, I'd notify Michael Cohen, and then he would be able to have them kill in another magazine or have them not be published, or somebody would have to purchase them.
Pecker also testified that he helped buy and kill 2 stories that could be damaging to Trump in order to help Trump's campaign. After establishing the conspiracy, prosecutors called Hope Hicks, Trump's former community.
Am I missing something? Because I'm a little confused as far as and I may sound super ignorant here, but I don't understand what the issue is as far as him trying to kill a story. If he knows somebody with the National Enquirer, like I said, I may be super ignorant in this situation, but I'm trying to figure out what the issue is. And even the connection to what they initially said was the crime. I understand that if you falsify documents And this is what I thought that this situation was. He falsified documents because he did not want it to show that he used campaign funds to pay off Stormy Daniels. I'm a little confused as to why the National Enquirer is involved, but this is why we're going through it.
Communications director, and they took jurors back to the weeks before the 2016 election.
Hope Hicks was important because she talked about how the campaign was in crisis mode in responding to the Access Hollywood tape.
I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy.
She explained to the jury why the hush money payment was really responding to this crisis within the campaign and was not made for purposes of Melania or Trump's family.
Then the prosecution called porn star Stormy Daniels. Were you expecting Stormy Daniels to take the stand?
This was a real unknown going into the trial. We didn't know if Stormy would take the stand. In some ways,
All right, so Maya just wrote, I was in the elevator with someone yesterday who said if they put him in jail, a lot of people will die. I think everybody's just extreme. I think that if he was put in jail, I think if he wasn't allowed to run for presidency, there would be certain issues, but I hate the extremism, and I get it, but we just live in such a everything just gets amplified. Everything just gets amplified. And what am I talking about? Like January 6th, when you're looking back on it, imagine if you never saw any videos of January 6th. Huh? Oh, come on. Hold on. If I can get back to the show. Jeez. All right. So as far as the extremism, and Queez wrote, extremist, he is going to be seen as a martyr. I just don't get it. It's like, okay, so I was saying as far as with January 6th, imagine somebody telling you the story of that without you seeing footage. Like, imagine the game of telephone that would go on if somebody's just telling you what happened on January 6th. You would think that, the country was in civil war. That you would think that it was a damn near what's going on in between Israel and Palestine. You would be thinking that in your mind as far as what happened on January 6th with people with Trump. He didn't want to turn over the presidency. And are those things, are certain things in the context of that true? Yes, but everybody's description is so extreme with everything. I did not feel as if, what do they call it? I forget what they call it. Somebody tell me the term that they use when they're referring to January 6th that they always describe it as. We talked about this before. Let's keep going. Hold on. Let's keep going.
she's tangential to the case. Her testimony absolutely mattered. What didn't matter was whether that 2006 alleged sexual encounter happened. Like, it doesn't matter if Trump and Stormy had sex. What matters is that Stormy was trying to sell her story. And I think when she was on the stand, jurors saw what that story looked like.
Throughout the trial, the jury also heard about
This may end up not being good for. I'm gonna tell you what may end up happening. I don't know. Y'all tell me. So what I think is going to happen now, let's say less people are voting for, because the Democrats think that, okay, now that Trump, he's got found guilty, we're going to have more people supporting us. I don't think it's going to go that way. I think who really just won here was RFK Jr. Now people who may not, that group of people that are not just the MAGA, faithfuls, they may say, you know what, I may end up voting for RFK now. I'm damn sure not voting for Biden. But now I may vote for RFK. And remember with those debates, those presidential debates, they set it up to where, you had to have at least 15%. 15% of the, in some certain polls that show that you were 15%, so that you got that support in order to be president. RFK, I believe, was at 10% in most of the polls. Let's say he gets up to 15%, and now they have to include him in some of these debates. When they have to include him in these debates, that may be a problem for Biden, because, and I think it may be a problem for Trump as well, because the more that people see a guy like RFK Jr., who's just going to bring sense, make sense politics, sensible politics to the table, and somebody that they tried to villainize so much that, to be totally honest, I think that's going to backfire on them. It's almost, we talked about this before, how you could talk so bad about somebody, and then it's like they don't even have to do much. The bar you set is so low for them. Now they don't even have to do much, and people are kind of saying like, "Oh, this is a little bit different than what I thought." So y'all may have just the liberals, the Dems, and why do I say the Dems in this? First off, I think that it was politically motivated. All you got to do is look at Robert De Niro and his stunt outside the Trump courtroom, which we may play after this. It just clearly shows that this is a political thing. It's like, hold on, is it about the election, or is it about actually Trump having a fair trial? Who knows? And shout out to Maya wrote insurrection. So it was an insurrection that they were calling it. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand the word insurrection, but to me, I don't see that as an insurrection. I just don't see it as that. It was a few angry people acting out that I think was just, using social media, or using the news media outlets. They amplified it to be something a little bit bigger than it was. But let's keep going.
About Trump as a businessman, from former staffers and also from books he wrote.
He writes, as I said before, I always sign my checks so I know where my money's going.
That helped establish a pattern to show that Trump was a micromanager of his business dealings. Finally, the prosecution called its star witness. Michael Cohen is an extremely flawed witness. How did the prosecution set him up so that he was ultimately believable to the jury?
Well, before Michael Cohen even walked in that room, I think those jurors felt like they already had met Michael Cohen. And they had established before he...
I almost left it on mute. And you know what's so funny? How we believe people based on which side of the argument that they're on. There's so many people that if Michael Cohen was speaking on Trump's behalf, would never believe a word he's saying. But now, because he's speaking against Trump, it's like, oh yeah, we could definitely trust what he's saying. Do y'all understand how this works? So, and I'm not saying, I think as the people, we need to do a better job of this, being more objective, and instead of just rooting for something like this, instead of letting Robert De Niro convince us that Trump's just a bad guy. He's just such a bad guy. So therefore, anything that he's charged for, lock him up. He's the devil.
He even got on the stand why all of what Cohen said made sense, corroborated much of it with other witnesses, that the jurors essentially didn't need to take any kind of leap of faith to believe Cohen, or in the instances when nobody else could speak to what Cohen could speak to, they were set up to believe him.
So let's look at what some of Cohen actually said in court. First, he said Trump directed the hush money payment to begin with, right?
He did, and he said Trump said to him, just do it.
And then there's testimony about Cohen trying to get his money back.
Yes, and Trump's sitting right there, and the prosecutor says, what did Trump do, or something to that effect? And Cohen says he approved it. And that's really important because it goes to the heart of Trump having a role in the creation of those false documents.
Ultimately, the jury found that Trump falsified business documents to pay Cohen back for his $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels, disguising the reimbursement payments as money for a legal retainer.
I'm realizing why this, or y'all tell me if I'm wrong, why this is normally a misdemeanor. Y'all want to know why this is normally a misdemeanor, in my opinion? Is because probably countless of these business people, wealthy people do this type of thing all the time. That's what it really sounds like. It sounds like wealthy, powerful people do this all the time, and that's why it's a misdemeanor. But like anything else, is it a crime? If it's a crime, it's a crime. But I guess is the issue more of whether or not he should be charged as these should be charged as felonies, or is it they should be misdemeanors, or is it I don't know. I'm really trying to understand what's the main issue here, and I guess I'm trying to figure out what's my stance on it, or how do I process it. But let's keep going.
Why didn't Trump testify?
Defense attorneys typically advise their clients not to testify. It's really, really risky. It's a little bit of a Hail Mary move. And if Trump had gotten on that stand, prosecutors could have asked him about all kinds of things.
The verdict made Trump the first former U.S. president ever convicted of a crime.
There's no way Trump could have got on that stand, because just like she said, they could ask him anything, and y'all know how it's a dirty game. It's a cold world out here. Y'all know they would have been asking him stuff that they could use in either other areas, I guess, to indict him in, but more importantly, just to make him appear to be less presidential. And they would have used that to try to show that he a bad person and Biden should be president and all this other stuff. We know what it's really about.
Next, Trump will be sentenced by Justice Juan Merchan. What are the possibilities when it comes to sentencing?
He's got a full menu of possibilities. Probation, he could give him a jail sentence. He could give him essentially no sentence at all as long as he doesn't commit another crime.
Trump, who faces 3 other criminal indictments in separate cases, has denied wrongdoing and has painted the trial as a politically motivated sham.
Trump has plenty of legal issues to grapple with as he campaigns. How all of this plays out is really up in the air if he becomes president, because it's unprecedented.
All right, so I got a question for y'all as I'm getting ready to play this other video that I thought was interesting. All right, so the Robert De Niro, we're not even going to get into that, but I do want to share. I don't think we're going to get into that, but I want to share this video with y'all with a question. Should Joe Biden pardon Donald Trump? Should Joe Biden pardon Donald Trump? Now, why am I asking that? Why am I asking that? To me, Joe Biden's in a position where he's in need of respect from certain people. And what do I mean by respect? I mean, a lot of the people that are leaving support for the Democrats, I think it's because they don't respect Joe Biden. They think that he's just says one thing, doesn't do it. They think that I think a lot of people are turned off by the Democrats and the tactics that they're using to try to compete with Trump. But to me, what would make him look strong, just like we said with the RFK, if either of these candidates came out, like if I was Biden, I would say like, yo, let RFK debate. Of course, let him debate. You know, this is a democracy. This is what we stand on, whether it makes us look good, whether it's favorable to us. We want the American people to decide this election. And I want RFK Jr. in the debates because he has a voice. A lot of people have shown that they want to support him. And it's important for us to have this conversation. To me, that actually would be very strategically good for a lot of reasons. One, it may take some pressure off of Biden and allow RFK to poke some holes and let Trump and RFK Jr. go back and forth. But the same situation applies when it comes to, and I'm asking this question for y'all to answer. So write in the chat, do you think that Joe Biden should pardon Donald Trump? Do you think that he should say, look, man, this situation, if Trump wasn't running for president, you know, he wouldn't be in this situation. We politicized our government, as far as being unfair a little bit to Trump, I'm going to pardon him and I'm going to beat him fair and square. I'm going to beat him fair and square in this election. I'm going to debate him fair and square and show you exactly why I'm the person that should get your vote. And the first thing that I'm going to do to show that is to pardon this man, because clearly he has a lot of support. And if a lot of people are supporting him, then I want to go out there and beat him. Now, do we think that'll happen? I don't know. And was I the first person to say that? Absolutely not. I'm going to tell y'all where I got this idea from. And it wasn't, I still don't know which side of it I'm on, but take a listen to this.
That thinking to myself, you know what Biden should do? And Judge, I know you're going to tell me technically this is impossible, but maybe he can do it and get credit for it. When and if Trump gets convicted of any of these charges, he should pardon him that second and clean the record and say, I'm a man that wants to compete on the merits of our policies. Let's start debating. That would lift him out of the garbage that he's involved in with this kind of De Niro stuff. Now, I know you can't do that because it's a New York.
You're right.
But can't he find some way to take credit for it by getting a higher power in New York to pardon this? This has hurt our brand. I've said it 5 times. But what's the right thing for Biden to do to clean up the fact that half the country thinks this is a politically motivated persecution?
Mr. Wonderful here. Why are there so many commercials on TV? Because
Yeah, I know I was on mute. I know. Hold on. Oh, now I'm not on mute. Hold on. Earth's funny with the Dak O'Leary. All right, my bad. The nose is giving me an issue, but I know he ain't trying to play ball. But you know what this reminds me of? Think back to the beginning of Troy with Achilles, and think back to a team that you've been on where it's like somebody that you really look up to, like that's the guy. You know, that's the guy. That's the one who we all lead or we all follow. But then you come across another group, another team. And when you see that the energy of the person that you look up to so much, you may even fear a little bit. You're like, yo, that's the guy. Nah, I'm not muted anymore. You got to catch up, press live. But I was muted. I don't think I'm still muted. But the guy on your team pretty much, or the guy that you say like, yo, this the guy on our block. But then somebody else come from another block and you see the guy on your block, the energy shifted a little bit different. You know, normally they talking to y'all like they the big dude on the block, but then somebody else comes and you could tell their energy is not the same with that person. What does it make you look at that person? It makes you look at them like, damn, like, yo, you ain't even like that. Like your energy ain't the same with this dude. That's what's happening with Biden. Or maybe it's already been happening with him. I don't know. But if I was Biden, I would consider doing something like that. Just to even if you go out with a bang. Like if I was Biden, I'd go out with a bang, yo. Like, yo, turn the teleprompters off. I'm not reading this stuff. Y'all got me reading it, and the reading is actually throwing me off more than just letting me go off. If I say something crazy, I say something crazy. It is what it is. That's if I was Biden, that would be my energy. I'd be like, yo, just go out there and just talk, bro. Just talk. I don't know if that would be a good thing. Shy wrote, Trump is going to win, and they helped a lot of people change their mind. Whew. All right, so that's the energy. All right, I didn't know that was the energy. All right, so hold on. All right, so let's get to this. What do I want to share with y'all? Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Let me close some of these screens. All right, so Caitlin Clark. And we're only going to be on for about 15 more minutes, I promise you. Well, I think I promise you. So we're going to get back to this Caitlin Clark situation. I think this is the perfect situation for us to see how we have been convinced to solve racism with racism. Now, what do I mean? The hate that Caitlin Clark is getting right now is hilarious. You have let's kind of share a little bit more. Let's just run the tape. Let me run the tape. Let me go to some of these videos that I want to show. Two in particular. One from Sunny Hostin, whatever her name is, and then one from Jamil Hill. Let's do the Jamil Hill one first. Hold on. Hold on. Let me share this.
White, says race-baiting commentator Jamil Hill. Clark's debut, the most watched game in 20. Leading scorer, Caitlin Clark, is only popular because she's white, says race-baiting commentator Jamil Hill. Clark's debut, the most watched game in 23 years with over 2.3 million viewers. Think about this, 2.2 million, okay? WNBA, 2.2 million. Because of a white girl? You think it's because of a white girl? It's because she shoots it lights out from the, from the, what do you call it, the logo? Yeah, I mean, she's like the modern day Steph Curry. Golf, is it white or is it black?
White. It's white with tiger.
Until one guy showed up.
One guy, yeah.
I've never cared about golf. No one's going to watch it. Then a Tiger Woods shows up and he's dominating.
Yeah.
So it's not that we're attracted to skin color. We're attracted to dominators.
I was going to say. Yep.
Caitlin dominates the game.
All right, hold on. All right, let me play the other video as well. 1 second. So keep in mind, so that's what Jamil Hill. I want y'all to
auction
hear this one,
which will be sold in the
want y'all
next
to hear
month
Sunny.
or two. I'm waiting for the marshal.
Right. We heard about that. We heard about
one
that.
thing that was on my thing to ask.
Hold on 1 second. All right, this is the one right here.
Caitlin Clark is bringing this money, these sponsorships, we hope, into the league, and other players will benefit from it. But I do think that she is more relatable to more people because she's white, because she's attractive. And unfortunately, there still is that stigma of against the LGBTQ plus community. 70% of the WNBA is black. A third of the players are in the LGBTQ plus community. And we have to do something about that stigma in this country. I think
we have to do. What does this stigma have to do with Caitlin Clark? So because we got to do something about this stigma in Caitlin Clark, and I'm calling BS on everything that we're seeing being said. And this is why I'm calling BS on it. You heard Patrick Bet-David mention Tiger Woods. Could you imagine how people would respond like a Jamil Hill and how Sunny Hostin would respond, Hostin, whatever her name is, would respond if somebody came out and said, yo, Tiger Woods is only getting all this attention because he's black. He's only getting all these deals because he's black. He's benefiting from black privilege. Can you imagine how people would respond to that? But let's be clear. They are right. A lot of the reason why Caitlin Clark is getting attention because she's white. But she's white in a dominant, a sport that's dominated by black athletes. Let's be real. 70% of the women in the WNBA are black, right? So even though they're right in saying that, isn't that why we celebrate the first black to do this, the first black to do that, the first women to do that? because they're going into industries that are typically dominated by people that are not black or are not women. Now, let's look at it this way. The reason why we highlight a lot of these people in other areas, the first black, the first woman, is because now that they're getting the spotlight and achievements, because I always look at it, it's like it's the first black CEO to do this. And I'm looking at it like, so I wonder how all these other white CEOs are feeling. Because this CEO is only getting highlighted, or this person in their company is only getting highlighted because they're the first black to do it. But what would people on the other end say? Well, yeah, I'm getting highlighted now, but everything it took to get to this position may have been harder or more difficult in certain ways than it was for you on your journey. So that's why I'm being highlighted. So wouldn't that have to be the case with Caitlyn? So even though she's being highlighted now that she stands out in a sport that is dominated by black athletes, a predominantly black sport, are we going to address the hardships or how difficult it could have been for her early on until she got to this position? I don't know. I'm just asking for the energy to be the same across the board. And what I'm going to say is so disingenuous when it comes to Jemele Hill and when it comes to Sunny Hostin. First off, y'all don't think Caitlin Clark is pretty. Y'all are saying that she's benefiting from pretty privilege. Let's be real. Jemele Hill, Sunny Hostin, a lot of these other black women, let's just be honest, that are upset about Caitlin Clark and are saying that all these hating things. Y'all don't even think she's pretty. Stop it. Stop it. The girl hoops. She's a hooper. She's we've never seen anything like her. She's the most dominant college basketball. She's the best college basketball player ever. She's the best. Like, I don't know. And maybe I'm tripping. Am I tripping? I didn't know that people looked at Caitlin Clark and said, like, oh my God, she's just so beautiful. Sunny Hostin benefits from pretty privilege. She benefits from being a black woman. Why do you think she's on that show? You think just, oh, she's the most intelligent person? Why? Everybody benefits from a certain level of I don't know, favoritism in one way or another. I would assume at certain levels. Do we think that the people on The View that they just tried out and it was a fair tryout and everybody? No, you benefit. You don't think that it benefits having a beautiful person like Sunny on that show? Everybody likes to call out certain things in other people, but not ignore. It's insane. Caitlin Clark, stop it. She's not benefiting from pretty privilege. She's a hooper. And what bothers me so much about this situation is you will see a lot of people that don't necessarily know much about sports or aren't as in tune with the WNBA. I'm not. But you hear a lot of people and this narrative from people like Jemele Hill and Sunny. What it done is I can hear it come out in other people who are not even into sports to understand, nah, Caitlin Clark is actually really that deal. Tiger Woods, it doesn't matter if he got highlighted for all these different things. If he wasn't performing and if he wasn't a great golfer, then it wouldn't even matter. He would be a Freddie Adu. I remember Freddie Adu was the young soccer player that got signed and people were making a big hype over him. Yeah, he got the initial big hype, but he didn't perform at a level that matched the hype. Caitlin Clark is the best college basketball player we've ever seen. She's having a very good WNBA rookie year. People are just so critical of her and just hating on her because her team has lost. Think about it. Her team has gotten the first pick of the draft for the last 2 years. She's not coming into a good team, and she's still having a good year. So I don't know. I just think that this is another situation where we think, because black people seem to think that because racism has happened to black people, and we've convinced these super duper liberals who want to rely on our victimhood that we should call everything, that the answer for us solving the racism that has happened to us is to be racist to other people. Let me ask y'all this. Who knows who Scotty Schecter is? Who knows who Scotty Schecter is? And don't Google it. Tell me if anybody knows. Tell me if y'all know who Scotty Schecter is. Nobody? All right. And it's crazy. He just got caught up in the news. He just got arrested. Nobody knows who Scotty Schecter is. Shai said no. Scotty Schecter is the #1 golfer in the world. One of the most dominant athletes in the world right now. Nobody knows who he is. I still couldn't picture. If he walked right by me, I wouldn't know who he was. But we know who Tiger Woods was. So should we be looking at it and say, oh, well, you know, that was racist, you know, with Tiger. It's not fair that Tiger is known and Scotty Schecter is nobody knows who Scotty Schecter is. That's racist. It's life. When you're in a sport where people do not tend to look like you, you're going to get more attention. It just is what it is. I'm sure there's certain situations where on certain people's jobs, when you are in a certain situation, I experience it all the time. But when you only keep the energy one side and not the other, like imagine people saying, oh, Tiger ain't that good. He's just a great black hope. Like how pissed off people would be. Nobody knows who Scotty Schecter is. So there's a benefit to some of this stuff. There's a benefit to maybe being in an industry where you're not the only person that looks like, where you're one of the only people that look like you. But I don't understand why when it comes to Caitlin Clark, I don't understand. It doesn't ring a bell. Shout out to John in the building. I don't understand when it comes to Caitlin Clark, why so many, and I gotta be real, yo, it's black women. I don't understand, and it's probably not the black women that are on here. I'm just being real. But I don't understand why so many black women hate Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is literally the reason that girl, Aja, the woman Aja Wilson, who didn't have a shoe deal, as soon as Caitlin Clark got a shoe deal, she got one. And instead of all these people that are now these WNBA players that are flying on private jets now because she's selling out arenas, playing in these sold out arenas, making more money, the team's making more money. She's literally the reason why y'all are making more money, and y'all can't find it in yourself to just not even be critical of her, but you should find it in yourself to celebrate her and appreciate her. But instead, we live in such a jealous, cynical society in which we're trained to hate each other that we can't even do anything but hate on the person that actually is the reason why more money is being put in my pocket. I think we just need to check ourselves when it comes to that. I think we really need to do a better job of checking ourselves when it comes to that. Let me, hold on. We're going to wrap it up. There was a couple other things that I wanted to get into, but we will not. We will not. I wanted to shout out my girl. I wanted to shout out Vivica Fox. Vivica trying to get married. Oh, man. Oh, wait, hold on. I got it. Hold on. Can I do this? Should I? I don't know if I should do this. Let's finish off with this. With a little. I'm going to get in trouble for this. I don't care, though. I don't care. Hold on. We finish it off with this. You want to know why? Because I don't like Vivica's energy. I don't like what she did to Ice Cube. Y'all know I still feel some type way about that. Look at this post. When she curved you, hold on. Check Vivica out. Hold on. I hope, is that growth? I don't know. I hope that's growth. I'm not going to get on it. I'm not going to do that. But what I do want to do is go back to how we started the show, and with the African proverb that Ursi sent over. And I want us to focus on this before we do our visualization and get out of here. So the child who is not embraced by let me actually put it on the screen. Let me see if I can put it on the screen, or I'll send it in the, if y'all looking at the chat, you can see it. And then let me try to put it on there. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. We got to get back, or get to a position to where we're seeing everybody as a part of our village, where we're understanding that we're all connected. And I shouldn't even say we got to, because we could do whatever we want. We don't have to do anything. But I challenge us all to be more open-minded, to be more objective, to be less biased by certain things that may have happened in the past, or certain things that may have been presented to us, especially if it's by the news media, whatever else it may be. But for us to get to a certain point where we can get to, where we can understand how everything that goes on in this world is connected. We are all spiritually connected. That's the universal connection. That's the godly connection that we all have in us. We are all a part of each other. When something happens across the world, maybe we should do a little bit more than what I was doing. And I shared the story before where, I was calling my dad before. I don't know if everybody was on, but I initially shared the story where I called my dad before the game came on 2 days ago or 3 days ago. And I was like sick to my stomach about what I saw happen in Rafah with these civilians being bombed. But then 30 minutes later, I was right back to enjoying the game, watching Kyrie, not even thinking about it. I think we have to do better as a society. I think we have to do better just ourselves. And it really comes down to what Queez always says. Any change that we want to see in the world, the only thing we have to do is become the change. So if we can start on a microcosm with just in ourselves, just within our day-to-day, our community, our village, our tribe, our family, to be more understanding, to understand that we're all connected, to see each other as a team, to understand that when we're putting out negative energy to this person, there's negative energy that's going to come back to us. So even from a selfish standpoint, it just helps to be positive to each other. From a selfish standpoint, if this person is a part of your chain link, then it makes sense for us to uplift them and make their chain link as strong as possible, because we understand that it impacts us all. So if we can take a step back from society, challenge ourselves to see each other as connected, and get to that goal of oneness, that to me is the only solution to all of these problems that we see, is when we see ourselves as the same team, and really have sympathy and empathy for what others are going through that aren't as fortunate, and to not just retreat to the privilege that we live in, especially here in the States, where we could just, watch one channel where they're talking about Rafah and then just turn to the next to where we're just enjoying the basketball game. I think we got to get to, more of a balanced place with that. I think we have to definitely just work on that. As I think about it and sit here and talk to y'all, like, I'm thinking about the ways that I can improve as well. But let's get to the visualization. Once again, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Everybody's got to be included on the mission. Everybody's got to be included on the mission. And let me be very clear. The things that I speak on, I understand that most people would say, like, yo, that's just not likely to happen. That's never going to happen. We're never going to see each other on the same team. I hear you. I understand you, why you would say that. But if we all believe that we're godly beings, then should just something being unlikely to happen be enough of a reason to justify not living righteously and giving what we want to the world, giving what we want to see in the world, becoming what we want to see in the world. Isn't it still worth it? So I don't know. But with that, let's get our visualization. Let's think about today what we could do in order to become more connected with individuals around us that we may run into on a day-to-day basis or that we may never run into, but figuring out a way how we can see each other as more connected and how we can break down a lot of the barriers that society has created to get us to hate each other. So let's think about 30 seconds. You know, even if we don't find a solution, I don't expect us to find a solution, but just to focus on it for a little bit. So 30 seconds, let's go. All right, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all already know what it is. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know what we're here for, to elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, as well as becoming who we need to become in order to impact our community, our village, our tribe, overall society in the way that we want it to be impacted. All right, let's, man. It goes back to that changes verse, like what Pac said, man. Let's learn. I wish I could. Maybe Monday I'll recite the lyrics, but that's one of my favorite songs and one of my favorite parts where he's saying, like, we got to learn to treat each other better, to eat better, all these different things. When he says the old way wasn't working, so it's on us to do what we got to do to survive. I don't think we need to do what we got to do to survive, but I understand what he's saying, because if we don't, then we've kind of talked about where this thing could go. But let's everybody just take ownership and responsibility by contributing to society what we need to contribute, by being exactly what we want the rest of society to be. And I think that's all we can do. And I think that's all we need to do. Lana, appreciate all y'all. Love y'all for real. Tapping in. Like I said, we were going to originally move this show to Saturday, but because Wednesday got messed up, I needed to get my get back. I needed to jump on with y'all and have these combos. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all as always. And let's just continue to do better. We're doing the work. We're doing the work. I don't want to always be pessimistic. Let's be optimistic. And part of the optimism is just us just being real about where we are currently. So with that, I'll see y'all soon. Onward and upward. Let's keep getting to it. Get to that bag. Whatever's in your bag, you decide. What's in my bag is going to be the health, the wealth, the integrity, the love, and the happiness. So I'm sending that energy out to all of y'all.